3 men, 2 from Ohio and 1 from North Carolina, lured another man to the target at Haynes Mall last Tuesday. Now, interestingly enough, these group of men are involved with a group called Dads Against Predators. And this whole incident ended up leading to a fight and then a shooting. And now Winston-Salem Police have a message for those residents trying to take on incidents like these.
I heard a basketball drop. So I thought it was college kids that were playing around.
Jason Vega is a former security specialist at Target. He says he was in the vacuum area when the shooting happened.
Jason, they got a gun. He just kept mentioning that. And then I saw people start running. So I started running.
Winston-Salem Police say 28-year-old J. Cameron Carnicom of Ohio, 29-year-old Joshua Mundy of Ohio, and 37-year-old Jason Chips of Marion, North Carolina, entered the Target last Tuesday night to approach a victim they met through the social media app Meetup.
Child sex predators are lured by people pretending to be juveniles and are later exposed either in personal confrontation or on social media. The member of these groups utilize apps like Kick, Whispers, Meet Me, and Scout.
The situation got out of hand quickly, leading to shots fired and people frantically exiting the store. Vegas says the same 3 guys entered the store in the afternoon trying to catch another sexual predator.
They looked like regular customers. You wouldn't have thought, they were there for anything.
Chief of Police Katrina Thompson says the department's Internet Crimes Against Children is working to combat the increased number of sexual exploitation cases. She says while citizen groups have honorable intentions, they can pose a safety problem to the public and can interfere with police investigations.
The actions of a citizen group could mean the difference between a prosecution and an acquittal, or worst case scenario, could make it possible or impossible for law enforcement to even bring charges that are worthy of prosecution.
In the meantime, Vega asked shoppers to be vigilant, and he hopes to see better security protocols around store safety.
Target is one store that they have color codes for everything except for an active shooter. And something like that, for me to have to yell out over the radio, there's an active shooter with me calling out a color code, say code purple. Hey, code purple. All the team members will know, okay, active shooter, time to go.
I can tell you that I see SLED agents at almost every shooting crime scene or a crime that involves a shooting at departments across the PD, especially the smaller police and sheriff's office. But not every department calls on SLED. Years ago, you didn't really see state police or SLED agents at crime scenes. And if you did, it usually involved the death of a child, officer-involved shootings, and deadly fires. Well, that's not the case anymore. I see them at most crimes working with police and deputies. Officials say SLED agents help process evidence at crime scenes. For instance, they'll dust for fingerprints on cars and properties and take it back to their lab to be analyzed in an effort to help track down a suspect. I emailed SLED's public information officer to learn more about their mission. She says they provide quality manpower and technical help to law enforcement agencies, and they have a number of resources to help lead and assist in investigations. But I don't see those agents at many crime scenes in the city of Florence.
Don't need to call them as frequently as smaller agencies do.
Florence Police Captain Mike Brandt says they have a great working relationship with their state counterparts, but they also have similar resources.
We have a crime scene unit that is highly trained and equipped. We have a budget for them. That's a benefit of being a part of the city of Florence, is having that budget to have a crime scene unit that's established and full-time. Whereas other agencies with smaller budgets that have much more area to cover, they have to allocate their resources differently.
He says they do from time to time call on SLED for certain services.
We utilize their forensic laboratory and many other technical services that we don't have within our agency, but we don't burden them with additional calls for service when we can handle those within our own agency.
For nearly a century, a South Carolina law has let employers pay certain people with disabilities below minimum wage.
But that's actually all about to change thanks to a bill that Governor Henry McMaster has signed into law. And as ABC 15's Amanda Kensett shows us, a Conway man was actually instrumental in making that change happen.
Meet Justin. He's the IT guy at SOS Care, an organization that helps people with autism and disabilities. Justin has benefited from their programs as well. In fact, before his involvement with SOS,
I was 30 years old, just living at home with my mom, never really going outside. I didn't talk. I almost never interacted with anyone else.
Justin now speaks with others with ease, has his own place with roommates, and a job that he can be proud of. Talk about life-changing. And his story helped change a law that allows companies to pay people with disabilities below minimum wage. He testified in Columbia on behalf of people with disabilities.
I was glad to offer that testimony and let them see that there are alternatives, there are better solutions out there for individuals with disabilities.
With the new law, companies will have to phase out what's called the 14C sub-minimum wage section of the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938.
The intention was to get people who had disabilities out in the workforce, but unfortunately that old law has survived through almost 100 years now and doesn't really apply to today's standards.
SOS Care offers job coaching services across the state. Sarah Pope, the CEO, says this change can change lives.
So the fact that that's changed means that there's going to be a lot more opportunities for those people for customized employment, competitive employment, supportive employment, all of the things that many of us are working on in the community.
Companies have 2 years to end sub-minimum wage. The law also established a task force to plan a transition that prevents workers from becoming unemployed.